Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And coming up here on the State of the Saints podcast, we continue our talks about Tyler Shough not having his contract, and will the Saints give him guaranteed money? And also, if you can remember standing outside of this store for the brand new Cash Money or No Limit album, then you know where I'm at.
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I got to say is, who that? Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, and yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Really do appreciate your time, man. Much love to each and every one of you spending a little bit of your Friday night with yours truly. Really do appreciate it. On this edition, we're going to be talking about Saints second round pick quarterback Tyler Shough, and will the Saints give him guaranteed money? That money. Yeah, that money. Will the Saints give him guaranteed money? And the reason why we're talking about this, of course, is because you have a lot of these second round picks as of right now still holding out for guaranteed money. Now, there are a few second round picks that have come to terms with their new teams. I'm going to go ahead and pull those up right now so we can know who. But I mean, there are several guys who ended up, reaching a deal with their new teams. One is, of course, you have Carson Schwarzenegger. He's one of the guys that end up receiving guaranteed money. Mason Taylor, former LSU Tiger, he reached an agreement with the Jets. You got Alfred Collins, second round pick number 43. He received a $10.3 million deal with the 49ers. And you got Travion Henderson, reached a deal with the Patriots. Of course, Jaden Higgins, he was one of the ones that kind of caused this whole thing of guaranteed money, him getting that from the Houston Texans. You also have Shamar Turner reaching a deal, and Trey Amos. So a few second-round picks end up getting themselves some of that Skrilla. But, of course, the New Orleans Saints, they have Tyler Shough. Tyler Shough, as of right now, is in competition to be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints for the 2025 season with Spencer Rattler. And with that, of course, his agent wants him to receive guaranteed money as well. I already said this, and I encourage you, if you did not check out the last episode where we talked about Tyler Shough possibly holding out because of contract issues, I feel like he has to do what is necessary for himself. Now, do I think that it needs to resort in a holdout? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, if his agent is telling him to hold out, then I would fire that agent immediately. Okay, I believe that you want to do everything that you can to make sure that you get everything that you can possibly get for your client. But at the end of the day, you got to be realistic about this thing. Anytime Tyler Shough missed any time, because of something like this, it just strengthens the leverage, and it strengthens the possibility of Spencer Rattler becoming a starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints in 2025. But, you got to do what is necessary. But I feel the New Orleans Saints need to give him guaranteed money. And here's why. Because when you drafted Tyler Shough in the second round, you pretty much told the entire fan base, you might as well have told yourself that this is the guy that you want to be the succession plan. He is the guy that you're looking at as the future of the franchise. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and as much as I love myself some Spencer Rattler, that is not the case. If Spencer Rattler becomes the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints for the foreseeable future and beyond, and the light comes on and he just becomes undeniable, then that is not what the Saints are focused on. That is not right. I mean, he would have to open the door and say, "Look, I'm in this thing," and put his feet on the table and say, "Man, I ain't going nowhere," because the New Orleans Saints want Tyler Shough to be that plan. So you want to pay him accordingly, man. And once again, you look around the National Football League, a lot of these guys got guaranteed money. You look at, Mason Taylor, he ended up getting like 91% guaranteed, right? Alfred Collins got 88% guaranteed, right? You got a couple guys, Travion Henderson, Jaden Higgins, Carson Schlesinger, all fully guaranteed contracts, right? And I'm pretty sure there's a lot more guys that are going to be drafted or that got drafted in the second round that are going to get guaranteed money. So if Tyler Shough wants a little bit more bread, I say, why the heck not? I mean, this guy is a person that you're looking at as your future. So why not allow him to feel comfortable and give him the money that he seeks? So you can get all of this nonsense out of the way and he can go into training camp knowing that he is competing for a job and he can feel, he can rest easy knowing that he got, the money on the way. I don't expect for anything to happen to him. Of course, we know if you got that red jersey on in practice, you can't be touched. But at the end of the day, you want to be assured that your future is sold up. So the New Orleans Saints definitely need to pay this guy so they can go ahead and get started with training camp, and Tyler Shough can feel happy about his position with the New Orleans Saints. Let me go ahead and read some of your comments, and then I'll get into a tweet that I put out earlier today. I'll kind of expound on that about my disappointment and some of these takes about the New Orleans Saints. And yes, I am saying this with my whole chest, and I honestly, I don't care who gets in their feelings about what I'm going to say a little bit later in the show. But Dudley says, I'm thinking about going to week 1 Saints game. Might just bring my sneaky link. Might just go viral too. I like that. I like that, man. I just think that you're probably referring to the astrologer that got himself caught up with his head of HR. But yeah, that's another story for another day, another podcast. But the reality is, look, man, I think that a lot of Saints fans are looking forward to going to the game. Like there was a lot of hesitancy when it comes to maybe them showing up to the Dome week 1. But I think that a lot of fans are excited to see what this team actually look like. They just want to see a better version of the team. So strolling down a little bit, Cool Sports says pay him and get things going right. That's all I'm saying, man. It's like you don't want this like hanging over you, and I get it, man. Anytime you have different type of contract negotiations, guys are going to size themselves up against whoever got paid, right? I mean, Jaden Higgins, Carson Schlesinger, those guys got $11.7 million guaranteed. And, other guys are going to be like, man, I feel like I have the talent. I have the ability to, yada, yada, yada. I want to get paid. I want guaranteed money too. So, that's just the way that it goes, man. When guys set the market, you have other individuals trying to do the same doggone thing. I mentioned on the State of the NFL, they got an episode that's coming out actually immediately following this episode of the State of the Saints podcast. I'm going to go ahead while I'm thinking about it, put that link down in the comments. I'm actually talking about TJ Watt and how he became the highest paid non-quarterback for the second time in his career in NFL history, and how his contract is going to reset the market once again. You got Trey Hendrickson and Michael Parsons. These guys have yet to be paid. We know Trey Hendrickson, and former New Orleans Saint, wants to be paid by the Bengals, and Michael Parsons wants to be paid by the Cowboys. Anytime a guy comes out here and he resets the market, then guess what? This other guy's going to size himself up. And you have these teams are going to put themselves in a deeper hole by not going to the negotiation table. It's going to make situations even worse. So you want to pay these guys, right? But you also want to be realistic about your position as well. Some guys got guaranteed money like Travion Henderson, which I understand. Look, he is going to be that number one running back for the New England Patriots. Mason Taylor, he is going to be that number one tight end for the Jets. So you pay these guys as close to guaranteed money as you can because they are going to be starters. So why not give these guys the bread? TJ, is the possible holdout because Kellen sees potential in Rattler playing with the starters? No, I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it has everything to do with him trying to negotiate the best deal for himself. And look, if he's going to go out there and he's going to start, or there's a possibility of him starting, I can understand why he wants to get as close to guaranteed money. And, if he can get guaranteed money, that'll be great as he possibly can. Like, I can understand why he feels the way that he does. Like, you don't want him to go out there and, like he ends up becoming a starter and then he just making, bare minimum money, right? And you're going to be making that type of money for the next couple of years. So at least you know that you got some guaranteed bread coming your way over the next couple of years. So I say the New Orleans Saints need to go ahead and do it. I don't think it has anything to do with Spencer Rattler. I don't. Let's see. TJ, we got to plan a who that meet up at a Saints game. Yeah, I agree with that, man. They definitely got to meet up with some of the members of the Who That Nation. I plan on going to a few Saints games this season, so hopefully we can collaborate and get some things going. Says, why not try to start the relationship with Tyler Shough on good terms and try to have him be happy? Yeah, I mean, look, that's just the way that it goes sometimes when it comes to negotiations. I keep telling everybody, and I cannot stress this enough, football is a business, all right? It's not a popularity contest. It ain't a I like you, you like me type thing. It's a business, right? And you want to make sure that you're doing what is best for business, what is best for your organization. Now, some feel like Cool Sports, and would say, well, you felt what was best for business was for you to draft this guy, so you might as well pay him. But I guarantee you the New Orleans Saints didn't expect for guys like Schlesinger and Jaden Higgins to get paid guaranteed money in the second round. It kind of just messed everything up, or the plans that they possibly have. But if you feel like Tyler Shough is your future, you drafted him as such. I mean, we've said this all the over and over again ad nauseum. He's the highest drafted quarterback since Archie Manning. So if you're going to draft a quarterback this high for the first time in 50 years, hey, you might as well pay the guy, right? And don't have any type of loose ends going into training camp. Let's see. Treat him as if he was a first rounder. If the Saints knew it would be guaranteed contract, no way they would have took him at 40. I agree, but hey, that's the breaks, right? Like guys constantly set the market. They constantly set the market. Things change, and that's the reason why you got to sew up your draft picks ASAP, right? You can't let these contracts linger around and stuff like that. I feel like guys like Shamar Stewart, he's probably going to end up wanting some more money, because of the issues that's going on with Cincinnati. Man, what the heck is going on in Cincinnati, by the way? I mean, can they just pay their guys if they productive? If you draft them and you think they're going to be the future, why are you not paying these guys? Like, why are you giving these guys such a hard time? But, some teams were taken back by the guaranteed money, and they got to figure out what's best for the team. Aiden Hutchinson is coming up, so is Will Anderson, and they're going to be making a whole heck of a lot more money because every single year the money inflates in the National Football League, the salary cap increases. So these guys are going to be making some crazy money over the next couple of years. And we all know how important pass rushers are to a football team. And we definitely know how important quarterbacks are to a football team. If you don't have a premier pass rush, you're probably not going to be very good defensively. If you don't have a quarterback, you're not going anywhere. Let's see, whoever the quarterback one is to start the season, that's our man. Even if the guy's a backup, he's still our guy, right? Because we have seen over the last couple of years, I mean, injuries happen to the quarterback position. So even though you might be sold up at quarterback, I mean, history has shown us over the last few years, they have not been good to the Saints quarterbacks. And we know that the starter ends up missing time, and you need that backup to be ready. So, even if that's you want to make sure that you have two guys that you can count on, right? The guy that you believe is the starting quarterback, but it just so happened if something was to happen to him, you have a solid backup. So that's the way I'm looking at it too. Let's see. Call me. Avery says the Peaches background. Hey man, yes sir, man. Look, who don't know nothing about Peaches right there, man? Peaches premier album CD shop in New Orleans, man. I remember going to Peaches quite a bit when I was in New Orleans, man, in the Gentilly area. People used to stand outside lined up when that new Cash Money album came out, right? I can remember like when Juvenile 400 Degrees came out, I mean, people were just wrapped around the corner waiting to get a copy of that CD, man. I mean, I could think of many times where I know some people that cut school. It wasn't me to make sure that I get that album. Or did I? I mean, I don't know, like some people, may have skipped 6 period, may have skip 7 period to may stand outside Peaches, get that new Cash Money, that new No Limit album. It could have been me. I mean, it could have been a friend. Who knows, right? But Peaches is definitely a staple, man. It was a staple, when I was growing up as a kid in New Orleans, man. I mean, look, everybody knows, man, I've been using like different backdrops that's synonymous with the city. And, shouts out to everybody that's been giving me like different ideas. Trust and believe I've seen these. And some of your ideas are definitely going to be on the way. But I'm just glad you all enjoy it, man. I just try to put a little nostalgia in the background as we talk about the New Orleans Saints. Let's see. TJ, respectfully disagree, but it's good. None of us think 100% the same, but 98% see what you see. Rattler showing out Tyler scared behind the scenes. Why? I don't think he's scared. Look, I agree. You're entitled to your opinion, but I don't think it has anything to do with fear, man. Like, this guy's a competitor, and so is Spencer Rattler. And, Spencer Rattler is going to be a little bit ahead of the curve, than what Tyler Shough is, because he's starting in 6 games. And then on top of that, he had a full, this is his second offseason. So he has a second offseason under his belt. So honestly, I would be even more concerned if at this stage, as soon as Tyler Shough gets off the bus, Brett still got Similac on it, and him and Spencer Rattler are on an equal playing field, I would be concerned about Spencer Rattler. The fact that Spencer Rattler is ahead of the curve, that's not a surprise to me. And it shouldn't have been a surprise to Tyler Shough either, or anybody that's like in favor of Tyler Shough being a potential starter. This is what you want, right? To me, that tells you a lot about Spencer Rattler, that he is coming in ready and willing to work, and also has shown improvement because he took the offseason to get himself prepared for the possible competition of whoever was going to be the quarterback. I mean, this guy knew what was going on, man. You got all of these Saints brass going to these pro days of these quarterbacks. He had to know that they were going to select one. So I'm pretty sure that provided a chip on his shoulder. So I don't think it has anything to do with fear. Like, football is a business at the end of the day, in my opinion. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that he wants to negotiate. I would be shocked, like highly shocked, if Tyler Shough isn't on the field next week when the Saints hit the field for training camp. I would be shocked. I don't care, contract or not. It is in his best interest to be out there. Like, giving reps to Hunter Deckers, giving reps to Jake Haener, giving more reps to Spencer Rattler would be detrimental to his development as well as his chances of being a starter. Like, that would be a ridiculous move or a ridiculous recommendation by his representation if they want him to sit on the sidelines. Like, that is not ideal. Like, I get it. You want to make this bread. But the only thing I would say is err on the side of caution, but you do not give reps to other quarterbacks that you're competing against. I don't care what's on the line. The money will take care of itself. We've seen this before with guys who are in contract negotiations. We knew how Alvin Kamara felt last season, but he was out there. And like I said on the last episode, some things are different. Like, if Alvin Kamara would have missed time, it would have been justified. And the fact is, we know what he can do, right? Alvin can miss time and be like, okay, I'm trying to negotiate a contract. And nothing would happen if they re-sign him. He don't take part in no off-season activity, training camp, or nothing. He still more than likely will be more than likely, he would be the starter. You don't have that type of position. You go into camp knowing that you're competing for a starting job. That's like somebody knowing that they up for a promotion and they just don't go to work for a week. Like, what? If you're competing with this guy, right? And I'm looking at both of y'all to see who is going to be my next top guy. Why would I miss work? I'll be on time. I might, end up leaving late. I'm going to show you that I have the ability to be able to do the job. So it would not be ideal for him to do that. I get it, but it wouldn't be smart. So I don't think it has anything to do with fear. In my opinion, I think it has everything to do with the fact that he just wants to get paid. But I don't think he's going to miss time. I'd be shocked if he ain't out there on that field. TJ, how does Garrett Wilson contract affect Chris Olave? Do we pay him now or square him away or just exercise his options? I'm going to tell you this. Garrett Wilson, to me, deserves that contract because since he was drafted by the Jets, he has been like a corner. He has become a cornerstone player every single year. Like, he has pretty much solidified himself. Now, you can look at it like Garrett Wilson is available. He doesn't miss time. Like, he checks all the boxes of what you actually want in a wide receiver. That's the reason why the Jets decided to pay him. It's pretty much a no-brainer at this point. I think you need to pay Chris Olave, but for me to say that, like, he has answered the questions like Garrett Wilson has, that would just be me being a homer. Like, Garrett Wilson, to me, has been way more available and has been way more active when it comes to the wide receiver position than Chris Olave has. Chris Olave, at moments, has gone missing. And in some clutch situations, he hasn't been the guy to get the ball. Now, there's been opportunities and chances where he has gotten the ball. Passes thrown to him, targets. I can think of that game in London in particular that set up that big time, long field goal by Will Lutz. That was a clutch play that Andy Dalton threw to him for 30 yards. I can think about the game with the Carolina Panthers when he caught that unbelievable catch. The Atlanta Falcons game when he caught the ball over the cornerback head. Like, he has mad bright spots. But I have yet to see Chris Olave take over a game like Garrett Wilson has. Now, some people will say, and I know what people say, well, if Chris Olave was on another team, then he'll be showing the same thing. Life is unfair sometimes, right? Life is just unfair. Sometimes guys got the opportunity to be able to show what they have in real time. And then you have some other guys that probably had some growing pains due to quarterback situations, coaching situations, etc. But to me, I'm taking the fact that I grew up a Saints fan, I love the team, out of the equation. If I had a choice to pay Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave at this stage, I'm paying Garrett Wilson. And, the New Orleans Saints not paying Chris Olave, I mean, some people may not want to hear this, but I mean, as of right now, like, there's a lot of question marks surrounding Chris Olave with the concussion issues, not playing a full season at all. Like, we got to be realistic about this. This isn't hate. Like, I like Chris Olave. I think Chris Olave has all the tools to be an elite receiver. I haven't, I can't dub him an elite receiver right now because I got to see it in real time. But if the New Orleans Saints are hesitant to pay Chris Olave, how can you not understand it? How can you not? Like, Garrett Wilson, to me, like, he earned his keep. He earned it. Dude has been upright, available, and been out there with a dog type mentality. And that's what you want, especially like in that New York market. Oh man, you need that dog mentality. So I'm not saying that Chris Olave shouldn't get paid, but if the Saints are hesitant about paying him, I understand. Like concussions are a real thing. And we have seen so many guys' careers get cut short due to concussions. So the Saints have to err on the side of caution. And we can't just say, oh, just give them the money, because I feel like that would be hypocrisy on some of these Saints fans' part, because they get mad when the New Orleans Saints go out here and give extensions to guys, right? And they be like, man, well, they didn't understand this guy's getting old, this guy's this guy's that. And then when all of a sudden, like, they kind of hesitant about it, now it can't be like that. Because what if the Saints end up, I hate to say it, but but what if he gets hurt and you pay him that type of money? Like he still has to get that deal. This isn't me, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all know how I feel about players getting paid. But at the end of the day, football is a business. Football is a business. And is it a really good business move to pay a guy over $100 million of a contract that has had 4 or 5 concussions in his career? Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm not hating on Chris Olave. I think he's talented, but at the end of the day, like, it's a business. And anything we try to spend our money on, like, you're not just gonna go to the car dealership. Well, hell, I hope not. You're not just gonna go to the car dealership and not check what's under the hood. Like, just because the car looks shiny in it and they put a fresh coat of turtle wax on it, right? You're gonna start that joint up. You're gonna look under the hood. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see, you check the tailpipe. You're gonna make sure that everything is working and on the up and up before you decide to drive it off the lot. And if there are some questions, man, you're gonna be wondering, like, man, okay, man, I got a warranty on this. So it's business at the end of the day, folks. But I hope that he answers all the questions. I hope that he stays healthy. I hope that he doesn't have any concussion issues. And I hope that he really starts to live up to that potential and really be that number one receiver and show those elite traits that we know that he has. And when he does, then yes, I will be the first person that has a show that be pounding the table about this guy getting paid. But as of right now, you got to err on the side of caution. Slim South, that's when Saints at their best. Remember Mike McKenzie off the street with off-street players under radar wrecking the league. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the Saints, they found some diamonds in the rough from time to time, but, man, you also want to draft guys that you can bring in that can develop, and you can utilize those guys right away. Did you say Rattler is a different, great version of Jalen Hurts? Bro, are you okay? Who said, wait, who said that? Who said, look, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to really go into that, man, because I like Spencer Rattler, and I hope that he lives up to his potential. But, I mean, I don't know about no Jalen Hurts, man. We got to wait for that one, We gotta win our first football game first before we start talking about, what he can actually be on this. So, he's doing all the right things. We see all the footage. We see the improvements in some of his throws and him working out with some of these wide receivers. So let's see if it can translate to the field. Olave starts as if he'll take over a game, then he gets hurt. Well, look, man. I mean, it's just unfortunate, man. I mean, concussions are real. It's not like the fact that he's like, oh man, I want to be hurt. He don't want somebody to knock his block off. He wants to be out there. He wants to be available. And, so, I mean, sometimes, football is unfortunate, man. Sometimes, guys end up getting hurt, and it's not any fault of their own, I mean, most of the time it's not their fault, right? If somebody roll over your leg, like I said, somebody gives you that helmet-to-helmet contact, knocks you out the game. So, look, I think that he has elite traits. I think that Chris Olave can be a top receiver in the league. I'm just not in the department of just crowning guys just because they look the part, or they, like, oh, they showed it sometimes, so all of a sudden I'm gonna give it to them. Nah, man. I feel like what makes you great is you consistently do what you're doing, game in, game out, and that is how we separate the good from the great. like some guys are like really good in moments, right? They have their moments where they're great and they look the part and they look borderline elite, but it's not consistent enough for you to say that they are elite. When I look at elite, I look at a wide receiver that everybody and their mama know they're getting the football on Sundays, and there's not a damn thing the defense can do about it. You can scheme all night, all day, all afternoon. You can try to roll coverage their way. You can try to do all these different things to try to neutralize them or take them out of the game, and they still put 100, receiving yards and 2 touchdowns on you. That is what elite wide receivers are. I just feel like a guy catching a ball over somebody's head every now and then, or one hand snag down the field, and everybody, oh, whoa, that's cool and all. Like, to me, that just showed me that you got some great hands, right? But are you consistently being an impactful player? Like, I go back to Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas was an elite wide receiver because everybody knew he was getting the football. Everybody knew it. You knew it. I knew it. The other team knew it. The fan base of the other team knew it. Everybody knew he was going to get the football, and there wasn't a damn thing anybody can do about it. When the Cincinnati Bengals hit the field on Sundays, everybody know Joe Burrow going to throw Jamar Chase the ball, and there's not a damn thing anybody can do about it. That's when you're great. That's when you're elite. Other guys, that show up, have 100 yards on a Sunday every now and then, that don't make you elite. It just doesn't. It makes you a good wide receiver if you can consistently, put up some numbers. But if I'm seeing you, not be a 9 factor for 2-3 weeks in a row, and then all of a sudden you show up, like, I can't give you that. That is the problem that I have now. We are so quick to give people and anoint them as GOATs and greats, and they probably had moments. Like, there's a difference between greatness and great moments. And some of these guys have great moments, and they're trying to be in that great room, and it just ain't it. Like, it takes a lot for me, or, to be like, look at a guy and be like, man, he's great. But one thing you gotta have is the ability to be able to be undeniable every single week, no matter what a person does to try to take you out of a game. That is the true definition of elite. Saying that a guy elite because he had a couple games or a couple good catches, I can't say that. Now, if you start to consistently do what you're doing, like putting up 100 yards, like going over 1,000, scoring touchdowns consistently, beating double coverage, then trust and believe. I will say right now, homeboy is elite. But when they taking you out of the game, right, and the quarterback is looking another way at another wide receiver because you basically getting shut down, I can't make you. I cannot say that you are an elite receiver. You're not. You're a really good receiver, top shelf receiver. But I mean, I digress, man. Name an elite wide receiver that played the game that that's elite, that got taken out of the game consistently. Name them. There's been a couple games, of course. Even Megatron got taken out of the game by Revis. But how many games are going to be like that? Like, how many games are you going to neutralize Megatron? Probably one. And there's only a handful of guys that's going to be able to shut him down and not have him be a factor in a football game. That's when you elite. When somebody that's middle tier, average cornerback basically taking you out of the game alone, or a couple guys, they roll coverage your way and they probably decent to say the least, and you not winning your matchup consistently, I can't call you elite. I can call you really good, but not elite. That's what I'm saying, TJ. Was Odell elite? Was he elite receiver? He had moments when he was elite, but if you're asking me, is Odell Beckham Jr. one of the most elite receivers of his generation? No, he is not. Really talented receiver. His personality kind of catapulted him. Like sometimes, like, guys' personalities can be like so polarizing that sometimes, like, people kind of look at them probably more than what they actually were. Like, he he had like years where he was like really talented, and you can say he was in that conversation. But if we're talking about Odell Beckham Jr., am I looking at him like I'm looking at Julio? No. Am I looking at him like I'm looking at Antonio Brown? No. Like consistently being great over and over again, and not just moments. Like that one hand snag, like don't get it twisted. Great receiver. But that one hand snag like put him in a completely different stratosphere. It was on Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys, the world watching, and you make a catch like that. He could do no wrong after that. And then when you start following him, you start seeing his story and the people that he hanging out with, the women that he date, like you become a rock star. Like Odell Beckham is a football rock star. But I don't look at him like like he the true definition of an elite receiver. He had years where you can have that conversation. But I'm talking about consistently every single year that you have been in the league, you have made that difference. And there's no, like, you look at it like Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson first catch, you know what I'm saying, it was a touchdown. Double coverage, triple coverage. Dude still out there catching the ball. Still gonna go for 100. No matter what you do. Jamar Chase, same thing. Like, it's levels to this, man. It's not a knock. Like, I just feel like we take great moments. And because we have these great moments about why, like, in our minds about wide receivers, oh, he was great. Probably had a great moment, but elite? Nah. Like, some guys are like guys you're going to always remember. Like, you're going to always remember Odell Beckham Jr. But is Odell Beckham Jr. a Hall of Famer? No, I don't think so. Like, I don't think he is. And if he ends up being a Hall of Fame, it's probably going to be like, how, like, you have like the Hall of Fame, you have some guys who probably are, a part of that old class that you probably don't remember seeing playing football. Like, great moments, but Hall of Famer? Nah. Of his generation, I don't know, TJ. I don't know. We wouldn't have Justin Jefferson if Odell didn't walk. Well, look, you might not have Justin Jefferson if Odell Beckham didn't walk. He is like him and Jarvis Landry. They kind of set that standard. And of course, I mean, you had some really good wide receivers throughout the course of time at LSU. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, like, who do you feel? Okay, I would say Odell Beckham got a Super Bowl ring, right? He got it with the Rams. But if I'm talking about like whose career that I'm looking at that I feel like gonna end up in Canton, it's Justin Jefferson. It's Justin Jefferson, man. Like Justin Jefferson, there was no what are you going to year 6? For 5 seasons, this man has been one of the top wide receivers in football. When every single year that you have been in the league, like people have been talking about how great you are and you're only getting better and better and better, like you're elite. Where's the down year for Justin Jefferson? Where is it? Now, I mean, and then on top of that, you can't say, oh, because, he has this quarterback, that quarterback. I mean, yeah, Kirk Cousins, yeah, okay, whatever. But, you know what I'm saying? You out there trying to catch passes with Josh Dobbs. You out there catching passes with Sam Darnold. Like, come on, man. Like, dude is an elite receiver. Like, D-Hop, DeAndre Hopkins, that's an elite receiver to me. Like, how much garbage this man has played with throughout his career. That's elite. That's elite to me. Like, somebody that's undeniable, no matter who throwing him the football, no matter what type of coverage you trying to roll his way. I don't know, man. I look at Odell more of a rock star than a like ultra elite receiver. I feel like his personality, kind of makes people give he gives the indication as if he just this elite receiver, but I just think it's mostly his personality. TJ, the difference between a generational talent and a generational player is there are plenty of generational talent, but they're just the potential to do something. Generational players live up to it. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, I don't know, man. I just think that sometimes we fall for the moments, right? Like we see guys and they're synonymous with moments. So the moment was like so polarizing. It went viral, right? Everybody was talking about it. So all of a sudden, like we find ourselves putting these guys in a room. But when you like look at their careers through a microscope, it's like, okay, man, I seen this, I seen that. But okay, some injuries here, since some down seasons there. Like, yeah, you had some elite moments, but like, I don't know, man. I'll just look at it different. Like, consistency is the key for me. Like I'm just not giving people just the like the GOAT status just because they had like a couple of years of consistent play, or like they did something that everybody was talking about. Like, that don't make you elite in my opinion. Maybe in modern society it does, and some people probably looking at me and saying I'm crazy for talking like this, but I don't know, man. I still got standards when it comes to like what's elite and what's not. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you do also. I'm not saying that Odell isn't a great receiver. He is, but what up, TJ? How are you? The host of the State of Saints podcast. My birthday is in the last 2 weeks ago on the 2nd of the month. Anyway, I'm 34 and getting old and getting wiser. You did well, Jeremiah. First off, happy birthday to you, a belated birthday to you. And yeah, man, I mean, with age comes wisdom. At least it should, man, ain't nothing wrong with getting older. I have an appreciation for it, man. You think about being young and some of the things that you've done, and then you start to get older and you reminisce and you have an appreciation for it, man. I mean, sure, I got a birthday coming up in the next couple of weeks. Be 39 years old, man. So, I'm blessed to be here and blessed to be able to do some of the things that I've done, and looking forward to the things that I'm going to be doing. But let me stop right there, man, because I would be remiss if I didn't mention this tweet that I put out on X on today. If you're actually watching this live on a Friday night, I put a tweet out about my disappointment in some of these Saints takes that are going on, from individuals. Like, and the reason I decided to make that tweet is because everybody pretty much, talking about how bad the Saints are going to be, team old, players washed. And, I just feel like there are a lot of things that the New Orleans Saints have done this offseason that the fan base, writers, prognosticators, onlookers have asked for. Everybody and their mama know that the Saints, led by Dennis Allen, was not the answer. They knew that Dennis Allen was on a hot seat going into the 2024 season. They knew the temperature between when it comes to Dennis Allen and those players. Some of those players were not buying into what homeboy was selling. And I don't care what anybody says. I watched a lot of Saints football throughout my lifetime. And I definitely watched a lot of Saints football during the times when they found their most success from 2006 to about 2020. The way that the Saints looked last season in a lot of those games was an indicator that they did not buy into what homeboy was selling to them. And a lot of the moves that the New Orleans Saints team made, those players, to me, wasn't in favor of. And if you look at some of those games, I think, look, I know, people don't want to touch this and be like, man, I don't want to say this. I'm going to say it. A lot of those players didn't give everything that they could. I think that they left a little bit on the bus. I think they left a little bit on the field as well. And it didn't have nothing to do with their abilities or their skill set. It's just like, man, look, this is an uphill battle. This is a winless battle. This guy isn't the answer. And I feel that way. And a lot of those games where I seen got like teams just run through the defense like Swiss cheese. Defense probably felt looking at that offense, backup wide receivers, backup running backs, backup offensive lines, and understood what was, right there in front of them. And a lot of those guys probably didn't give everything that they could because they did not believe in Dennis Allen. You fast forward to this year. You got Saints fans out here whining and complaining. I was one of them. They need to get rid of Dennis Allen, right? Get rid of Dennis Allen. What do they need? Oh, no, they don't need no other coach that was in the league. They need somebody that's young, like a Sean McVay or Kevin O'Connell. So they get Kellen Moore, right? Oh, man, the New Orleans Saints, they just need to go ahead and they need to draft themselves a quarterback. They draft a quarterback. Oh, it ain't Shedeur Sanders. Oh, Tyler Shough. Oh, look at him, man. You seen him in his rookie premiere? Look, he don't even look. He look like a punter. What? Like, seriously, man. Like, we are really going to evaluate a quarterback because he don't have Jordans on, or he ain't dripped out, or he ain't bezeled out. Like, we don't know what this team is going to look like. And I just feel like putting up PFF numbers when you know good and God doggone well, a lot of these players weren't trying to go hard for no coach that they knew wasn't the answer for them. And we also see on countless occasions how a new regime, new coach, new coaching staff can resurrect and inject some life inside of an organization. You don't believe me? Look what happened in Washington. Dan Quinn comes along. Dan Quinn, former Falcon coach, former defensive coordinator of the Cowboys, former coordinator of the Seahawks, goes to the Commanders, does it his way, allows the players to be themselves, and the next thing you know, they're looking at the NFC Championship game. Now, be that as it may, Jaden Daniels is a special quarterback as we see right now. But at the end of the day, it took a coach to believe in Jaden Daniels. It took a coach to believe in those players. And those players watching Dan Quinn go for it on fourth down, watching him go out there and believe in him and saying, we're going to play do or die, and go out there and they believe in it. And we see the Washington Commanders are now a high-profile team once again. They haven't had this much hype since what? Mark Rippon was around that thing. Like Doug Williams. That's all it takes. And all I'm saying is, you don't know what this is going to look like. I used the analogy, why does everybody want to show up to the club at 8:30 p.m.? Why are you showing up to the club at 8:30 p.m.? The strobe light just got turned on. The DJ just, took his turntable out and just put it out there on the desk. Like, everybody know the party going to start jumping around 10:30. I say that to say this. Why do we just want to be early to the party? Like, we don't know what it's going to end up being like. That's like you walking in at 8:30. Oh, man, ain't nobody here. Damn, stick around. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? 10:30, the party might be jumping. It might be lit up in there. You might find a person of your dreams. You might have the best time of your life. I don't know what this season is going to look like. But the thing about it is, neither do you. And I can't, like, people want me, to be as negative as everybody else. Oh, come on, TJ. Oh, come on, man. You see what's going on, bro. Man, they saying that they're going to win 5 games, and they don't know who they go quarterback going to be. So the freak what? You don't know. Like, you don't know what this team is going to look like. But I do know this. You got a lot of guys on this football team that seem like they are okay now and feel comfortable that they're being themselves. Like, look how boisterous and emotional and passionate that Alontae Taylor is. Because he wants somebody to allow him to be himself. Talese Fuaga. Oh, I moved from the left side to the right side again. I feel comfortable in my element. Guys feeling comfortable because they're not getting pushed to the brink of exhaustion because you have a coach that was trying to save his job instead of looking at how he is putting wear and tear on his player's body. Those are the type of things that we need to be paying attention to. not trying to show up to the club at 8:30 and saying nobody want to come here. I'm just disappointed, man. Like, yes, do the Saints have some older players on the team? Absolutely. But you cement, like, we wanted the New Orleans Saints to draft the players. They got 9 young, promising players on this team. Not everybody going to make the team. But you got some guys that have some potential. Let's see if they can live up to it. Let's see if maybe a new coaching staff with ideas and philosophies can tap into the potential of Isaiah Foskey, can tap into the potential of a Bub Means. We see this all the time, man. You watched it last season. Zach freaking Bond, first team All-Pro. Do I need to remind you of that? This man was on special teams for the Saints. This man on record saying that he was sitting in the driveway with tears in his eyes, wondering to himself, what can he do to get better? Dude goes and leave and go to Philadelphia, and in one season becomes a first team All-Pro. You got to give people opportunity, man. Whatever happened to organizations failing players? Whatever happened to that? Like, we so quick to, oh, man, that player, he ain't no good. He ain't no good, man. He suck, man. I don't know, man. He ain't gonna never be nothing. We never look at the organizations and why these teams are picking in the top 10 every single year, changing our coaches every single year. We never look at that. We always look at, oh, the players ain't good enough. Look at Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield get drafted by the Cleveland Browns. Man, bounced around the league, went to Carolina, went to Los Angeles, found a new life in Tampa. Now he's like a top 10 quarterback on some people's board. Geno Smith, drafted in the second round by the Jets, bounced around the league till he got to Seattle. Comeback player of the freaking year. Got himself another contract with the Raiders. Whatever happened to organizations not doing right by players? We know the reality is this. The Saints took way too long to move on from the Sean Payton culture. Instead of them trying to ball up the paper and throw it in the trash or, you know what I'm saying, like try to revise the paper, they decided that they wanted to go out here and try to reinvent the wheel with a lame duck coach that did not have the capabilities of being a head coach. We know it. Why? Because I got over 200 episodes of individuals in my chat, on the chat lines, calling in, saying that this dude ain't it. So how is it that we have come to the conclusion that the dude wasn't it as a head coach in Dennis Allen, but at the same time, he wasn't it, but the player's not good enough? How about allowing this situation to play itself out? Now, I say this all the time. Around week 6, around week 7, if we're having these type of conversations, then cool. Let's talk. Oh, man, they ain't looking good. Okay. But can we also put it into context? Are they not looking good but showing promise from Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler? Are we seeing some promise out of the young defensive players, but they just need a little bit more seasoning? Or are we just trying to rush the judgment and say, oh, man, they ain't it? Come on, man. Like, I get the skepticism of the Who Dat Nation. I get the severed relationship between upper management and the Who Dat Nation. But damn, we asked for a new coach, asked for another quarterback. You're getting what you want. You even got some white doggone helmets and probably some gold jerseys, something that some of y'all been asking for I don't know how long. How about we just sit back and just kind of play itself out? And then if it don't work out, then cool. Let's have the conversation. But once again, why in God's name are we going to the club at 8:30 p.m. and saying that this party sucks? Who goes to the club at 8:30 and just say and critiques the club for that night? Now, if it's 10:30, 11 o'clock, and there ain't nobody in that joint, it ain't popping. But at least, damn, can we get to 10:30? Can we at least get to 10:30? Can we at least get to 10:30? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know, folks. Can we at least get to 10:30? If we can get to 10:30, I'll be all right. But I'm like, come on, man. Like, and y'all, and they say when it comes to your boy, oh man, I don't really rock with the state of Saint because he's so negative. Like this is Mr. Negativity, as they like to call me. saying that people need to have a wait and see approach. I'm not saying be naive. Like, oh man, like, man, they going to the Super Bowl or something. But all I'm saying is, if you're asking for a team to improve, they have done as much as you can possibly do to try to better their situation and appease you in the process. New quarterback, new coach, fixed the offensive line, got Alvin some help. Wide receiver, I can understand still being skeptical about that. But new moving parts and young promising players that come in that have a workman-like mentality and on a collegiate level were the epitome of production. Danny Strutchman, over 100 tackles. Right? Vernon Braden, on the line, did it the hard way. Could have went and left and went to another school, decided to stay at the University of Texas. Calvin Banks, been a starter on the offensive line since his freshman year. Quincy Riley, turnover machine at Louisville. Yeah, he's injured right now, but hey, guy was very, very productive in Louisville. Right? Devin Neal, one of the best running backs in the history of Kansas since Gale freaking Sayers around this thing. So all I'm saying is, like, give guys an opportunity. Like, if it doesn't pan out, then cool. I just don't get, like, why we just quick to rush to judgment. Like, man, cut off the Monday morning quarterback. Like, I don't care about PFF. All that stuff is irrelevant to me. Especially when I know that the team looked like slaw last year due to injuries and a bad coach. Don't give me no PFF grades up in here, man. Half of the team was in a MASH unit around this thing. Half of these guys' morale was shot last year. Knew that they weren't going to win nothing. Dude, man, come on, man. Like, look, as much as we try to, like, act as if, like, these guys aren't human, they superhuman. And in some cases, they do superhuman things, but they still think like you and me. And sometimes, you feel like you're in an uphill battle. And sometimes you have to mentally get yourself prepared. And sometimes, you feel like you're in an uphill battle. You may not launch out a little, may not try to go all in for that tackle. May realize, man, it ain't my day today. We gonna keep on chopping wood? Okay, yeah, chop on. We gonna fight the good fight? Yeah, we gonna fight on. We got a ton of things we gotta clean up. Yeah, let's clean it up. Man, y'all better act like man. Bruh. I don't know what other way to put it, man. Y'all know the truth, man. I look. I don't get why the energy is like just like I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know what this team gonna look like. Like, we all have our assumptions, but we don't know what this team is gonna look like. We don't know what this team is gonna look like. You don't. As much as you want to slide up to your phone or to your laptop and be like, all right, TJ, bro, man, I'm just gonna say it like it is. Man, there ain't gonna be nothing. You don't know. You don't know. I mean, you don't know what it's gonna be. All I'm saying is, like, why set yourself up for like this? I don't know. Maybe it softens the blow or something. I don't know. Like, if you know what this team is, I keep telling everybody. I keep telling you, it's like going to Vegas, playing in a casino with house money. Like, you already know the expectations are low. They low, right? Okay, cool. I'm not going to just like, okay, yeah, they low. Boom, they suck. Boom, they ain't going to win nothing. Like, come on, man. Like, take it for what it is. You don't know what they expect. And because you don't know what they expect, how can you be? I don't know, man. I don't know what we're looking for, man. I don't. All of the things that are happening this offseason, we've asked for as a fan base. People who were written for the team, people who have followed the team, Like, everybody's been talking about this and clamoring for what the Saints have brought to the forefront. And yet we still not happy. I don't get it. I don't get it, bro. I just rather reserve my judgment till all the facts come out. Saying a guy ain't gonna be good because he ain't wasn't good for the last couple of years, and like, come on, man. Come on, man. What are we doing? Let me read a few comments, then we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Says, once you walk out the door, you better not come back banging and ringing the doorbell when it's all good. Look, Lee, I want people to understand this. I understand the skepticism. I do. But what I don't understand is like just these premature predictions, or these lukewarm takes about like what the team is going to be when you don't know. Like, Kellen Moore might end up not being very good as a coach, but he might end up being a really good football coach. Why don't you just, like, you owe it to yourself to find out? Like, trying to set yourself up for failure, I guess, a disappointment. I just don't like that look, man. I just don't. Like, the vibes and the energy of the Who Dat Nation resembles that of when I was growing up as a kid in the 90s. And it's like all hope was lost, and it's like, oh man, we ain't never gonna be nothing. And it's because, in a way, I can kind of understand fans in the 90s because they never really truly seen prosperity. Yeah, they seen a playoff appearance, but no wins, right? I can understand that because you haven't seen what prosperity looked like. But when you do, and you can see it in real time, you know that the team has the capability of doing it. Like, whether you want to admit it or not, a lot of these players that's on the team were responsible for the Saints getting off to that hot start last season. Now, you can say that, oh man, it was a mirage and all that, but them boys were clicking on all cylinders when they was out there playing. So there's some success that are in those players somewhere. And if you combine that with maybe like a injection of youth, maybe some players that probably wasn't utilized the right way, who knows, man? But if they suck, then guess what? That's why the State of the Saints podcast is here. For us to be able to talk about it and dissect it, but let's at least see what's going on first. That's what I've been saying. You can't even fairly assess last year's team. Like, teams are like, teams change every single year. Players improve every single year. A play that a rookie didn't make in year one probably would make in year two. A player that probably wasn't as good, light might come on the following year. With some better coaching, a motivated player, who knows? Who knows, man? I like the fact that Kellen Moore is not Dennis Allen, and that's he's an offensive-minded coach with experience. Will it pay off? We'll see. But I'm not going to say it's not going to pay off on Friday, July 18th, when they ain't even had training camp yet. Not going to do it. And I don't care, like, honestly, y'all know me, man, but I don't care who get mad at this, because that's just weak, man. That's just weak. And I'm going to honestly say, like, I normally don't go here, but I'm going to honestly say, I think that people are falling for that clickbait culture, man. Now we got this clickbait culture where, I'm going to have the most controversial take just so people can gravitate towards me. I'm going to just chunk it up to that, because I don't want to believe that some of these takes exist and these are people's genuine feelings about a situation. I don't. I do not. Like, I understand what this podcast world is about now. It's about shocking takes. It's about, getting somebody to react to a certain situation. Oh, I hope they say something. Oh, such and such as did. Oh, man, whatever. I do not care. I just hope that this is what it's about, right? We just being subjected to clickbait culture, because I don't want to believe that, people feeling this way about a team that they ain't even seen yet. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to say at the end of the day. I don't know. Like, you have teams that struggled last season, and I wouldn't go out here and jump out the window and say that they're gonna stink. And they like the Jets. Like, historically, they not been a good franchise. Some people say, man, you can bet your bottom dollar the Jets gonna suck, but I mean, Justin Fields might end up being real good. Aaron Glenn might be what the doctor ordered. Like, you don't know. Team change. Like, once upon a time, the Saints were looked at as one of the most disgraceful football teams in the history. But all it took was a coach that people barely even heard of, unless you were like really around NFL circles, named Sean Payton. Some of us, when the Saints hired Sean Payton, we was like, who? Who? Right? Turns out that man was the greatest head coach in the history of this franchise. Right? I mean, it starts somewhere. Like, you don't know. A culture starts somewhere, man. You got people that's watching this show right now that don't have a vivid memory until maybe in their adulthood of the Saints not being very good. Some of you are like 24, 25, 26 years old. All you watched was the Saints being one of the most relevant teams in football. But once upon a time, it wasn't like that at all. Because a coach and a quarterback came in and changed the culture of a franchise. Who's to say that another coach can't do it again? Give it a chance. If it doesn't, then, continue to work to try to find that coach that can do that. After Carr hits the Michael Jackson, it was over. Once he hit the Michael Jackson, it was over. TJ, if you go on ESPN right now, we aren't favored one game besides the Jets game on the road. And that's fine. And I expect that. Like, bruh. Bruh. These people aren't checking for the Saints. They are not. They are not checking for the Saints. They not. Let's get this out of the way and let's get back to them Cowboys and them Jets and them Giants and them New England Patriots and them Philadelphia Eagles. Main market teams. Like, they don't talk about no Saints. They don't spend their time talking about no Saints, man. Seriously. Like, we have to understand that, man. Like, football is about, like, when it comes to the ratings and all that kind of stuff, man, it's about nostalgia. The teams of yesteryear, right? The teams that, been, I guess, like the credible teams, the ones that made the NFL go round throughout the years, like the Cowboys and the Steelers. That's who they want to talk about, man. They ain't sitting up there like they might get an intern that, maybe just came from Northwestern or something like that. Hey, man, give me a little something on the Saints. Who they quarterback is? What's really going on here? All right. They'll probably prep it with the guys that's going to be on TV or the lady going to be on TV, and then they go out here and they just blurt it. Hey, come on, man. Let me get back to the Cowboys, man. Let me talk about that. I got about 3-4 people, interns right here talking about them Cowboys. I got maybe one intern that's probably around this thing, like I said, just fresh out of Northwestern, fresh out of Michigan somewhere, trying to get their journalistic, chops, in place. And, give me something on the Saints. Boys ain't checking for no Saints. Not like we do it. I'm serious, man. Like, most people that I be chopping it up with, like from a national level, a lot of them are super kind, but they're like, I would respectfully decline. Like, talk about those Saints, like, man, like, I'm just telling the truth, man. Like, I don't like, with all due respect, I'm not gonna question anybody's like football knowledge or whatever like that, but I fail to believe that a lot of the people in Bristol and Los Angeles and like on these main sports shows spending time like learning about the Saints. Like, I just don't. Oh, man, they ain't got no quarterback. Oh, they ain't gonna be no good. I mean, that's just the way it go, man. That's just the way it go. TJ, you ain't gotta take shots at me because I'm 25. I was here in them back in the back. eight seasons. Nah, I'm not taking shots, but I'm just saying, like, it's not so much of a shot. It's reality. Like, though, I often say this because I feel like I have to say this. You are not responsible for what era or what time that you grew up in, right? I mean, that's just the way that it goes. I'm just saying, a lot of you, like in that age group, don't have any type of recollection unless you like go on YouTube or something like that, knowing how bad and how embarrassing this franchise was in the eyes of a lot of fans, Saints fans. Like, seriously, like all you really seen is prosperity from this team. And it's not your fault. Like I said, that's just the era you was born into, which you should be you should be happy. But at the same time, it's like, when you've been sleeping on silk sheets, and Bob was like, we gotta change the we gotta change the thread count. We gotta lower the thread count. Like, whoa, I like these silk sheets. I like these silk sheets. Some of us still, okay, Rick, we sleeping on them polyester now. You know what I'm saying? It don't feel good, man. We used to sleeping on them silk sheets. Yeah, TJ, they handle us like we little kids, like cute. Go play with your mama. Yeah, like, people need to get with the program. NFC South is a weak division. Yeah, they all weak division. They all weak division, but a part of me feels like, maybe some individuals probably happy that's the case because they're not major market teams. Can you imagine? Like, they like a couple of years ago when the NFC East was known as the NFC least, like, man, the NFL hated that, man, because you need the Cowboys, the Giants, the Eagles, Commanders. You need them to be hot. Now you got 3 out of those 4 teams, like, at least looking pretty credible. I mean, the Cowboys, last season, they weren't really hitting on nothing. Dak was hurt, but for the most part, they'll be winning 12, 13 games. Eagles have been to the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 3 seasons. Washington Commanders with Jaden Daniels went to the NFC Championship. Man, they loving that. They loving that, man. That's what they want to see. They want to see these boys in contention, man. Them Bucks out of my face. Them Panthers, them Saints, them Falcons. Get them up out of here, man. Like, we don't want that. We don't want that, man. We want to see them Giants and them Eagles. We want to see them Steelers and them Ravens. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the way it is, man. It's about ratings at the end of the day. TJ, did you get that donation? This thing acting up. No, I didn't get any donations, man. But just tell me what you said, man. Look, man, I ain't tripping about no donations, bro. Like, just tell me what you said, man. I appreciate you even trying to, donate to the show, man. But just let me know what you said, man. Just go ahead and copy and paste it. I'll just put it out there. Tripping on that, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate all, everything that you donate to the show on a consistent, man, King Arthur. I appreciate that. So basically, TJ, you saying it's about time I get us get us to some struggle. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. It's man, it's a shock to the system. Like, it's a shock to the system, man. It's like seeing, like, I don't want to compare it to this, but it's like seeing something that you don't normally see, right? It takes some fine tuning and some adjusting to do. I mean, it's human nature, man. Like, bruh, I'm gonna use this for an example, and I'm only using it for an example. I'm only doing this in comparison. If you were in New Orleans around 2005, right, around when Katrina hit, that was your culture, that was your life, the staples, the things that you were used to. You basically was removed from that and thrust into a completely different culture. Like, you had to adjust to that. Now, some of us, have adjusted to it, but once upon a time, like, there was a moment in time where we felt like we will never adjust to the situation or the surroundings that we were in. I'm talking about the people, not the people that went back to the city, but the ones, and even if you went back to the city, it's not the same. It's not. Like not, in some cases it is, but in most cases it's not. But if you completely like left your situation and went to it, it takes a little bit of some adjusting to get used to. If you are a Saints fan and you are used to a certain culture, winning, dancing, dancing in your living room, 60-yard bombs and 300-yard games, and now all of a sudden, like, they can't throw a party for their kids, or, they can't tackle a math problem, or, like, you can't catch a cold and 40 below if you're a wide receiver. Like, that is frustrating. And it's like, man, what is going on, man? Like, man, when Drew was here, man, it was lighting up the scoreboard. 15, 16 different personnel changes per game. Like, what is going on here? You get what I'm saying? Like, it takes some adjusting. And that's what I'm referring to when I'm talking about the younger generation that came in during the Breeze Payton era. Like, right now, you just feel like this is the dark ages. This is like the stock market crash in 1929, right? Like, like, man, we broke around this thing. Like, him, I, woe is me. That's what I mean. Like, nah, I mean, like I said, you can't help the era in which you grew up in. Keeping it real, who that fam? TJ, how you doing, my brother? I'm doing great, Dolph, man. Appreciate you for being here, man. Shouts out to Dolph, man. Always working hard, putting out great content on his channel, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to his channel. Alfred says, we just drafted Tyler and we already talking about next year quarterback. Can we see what he got first? That's what I'm saying. Tanking for Arch. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Some of us love ourselves some nostalgia. Oh, Archie Manning. If we can get Arch Manning, I mean, this thing will be perfect. Like, come on, man. Like, give Tyler Shough a chance. Give Spencer Rattler a chance. Keynote, thank you very much for the $5. Says, TJ, I got displaced to Atlanta. When I went back and seen the most of the repairs and rebuilding was to appease tourists and not the locals, my heart broke. Yeah, man, look, it's shocking. Like I said, man, took my son down to the city a couple months back, elementary school not there. My grandparents' house where I had most of my memories. If you see me like start projecting things on a backdrop, a couple episodes ago, I had the vacant lot where my grandparents' house used to sit. There's not a moment where I don't go visit that vacant lot. And if you ever seen a movie like Titanic, and like when Rose, when she was over 100, she passed away and her spirit and her essence went down into the ship and the bowels of the ship, and all of a sudden, like it showed like the ruins of the Titanic, and then all of a sudden, like it just became like all fresh and new how it was, during that time. I want to say 1919 or something, and she was in that on that ship, fully intact. That's the way it feels every time I go on Montague Street and see that vacant lot. Like, I can literally know where the gate was placed. Walking up those stairs, my grandmother's first room was that living room. Then it's kind of a shotgun. Like, you can basically see from the front to the back of the house. Living room. Had a little small half bathroom right there. Kitchen. Den area. Then you go to the back, had my uncle's room. Like, I can literally see that. Those are memories. Like I said, they're ingrained inside of you. But all I'm saying is, it's a shock every time I go down there, to see that vacant lot. And knowing that, a lot of what I'm telling my son is mostly through the memories that I have, but he can't envision it or see it because it's not there. It's a shock. Just like a shock is the Saints winning 5 games when you're used to him winning 12-13. Like, it's a shock. I won't get too dark, but I'm just saying this, I'm just using this as an example, folks. But I'm just saying, like, have some patience, man. Let's talk about the team, like, when there's something like, going on. Then we can, like, if they don't end up being that, then we can have this conversation. Man. But at the end of the day, it's like, I feel you're on a broken lot. My grandparents' house was right across from the Owl Food Market on a shelf, no longer there, just a slab of concrete. Yeah. But those memories are there, right? and they mean something to you. But it's also, like I said, it's also just a shock that it ain't the same. What game console are you get the college football 26, TJ? I need to get the college football 26 on PS5. Now I got it on Xbox Series S. I played it a couple times, man. Honestly, man, I've been extremely busy over the last couple of weeks, man. I ain't really had a chance to really sit down and play the game. But I do have this to announce while I'm thinking about it. Uh, I have reached another deal with the Bleacher Report to be the Saints representative for the 2025 season this year. So I'm extremely excited, man. Shouts out to Bleacher Report for the continued collab with yours truly, man. Is definitely a great opportunity, and I'm just privileged to be able to work with such an amazing company, man. Shouts out to Tom Warner, Bleacher Report. Shouts out to all the fine folks, the producers, the people that that are instilling that level of confidence in me. They got some great things coming up. Next week, I'll be announcing some of the things that I have coming up. It's going to be a little different. Still going to be doing post game streams every single game the entire 2025 season. That includes preseason and regular season. But we're also going to be doing weekly shorts. And I'll have more details for you all coming up next week, man. So shouts out to Bleacher Report, man. We back at it again. Not bad for a person. A lot of people just think that it's just a negative guy who just got a podcast, right? Not too bad, right? Hey, shouts out to everybody that subscribed to the State of the NFL. Shouts out to everybody that has supported that channel. We off and running, man. This week, we got we had Steve Weiss on the show this week. We had my guy Brian McFadden on the show. We got my boy Emery Hunt. He'll be on the show next week. I'm working and collaborating with Marcus Spears. His representation, trying to come up with a time we can get Marcus Spears on the show. There's somebody else, that's out there right now. I'm gonna just hold that one. We're gonna try to see if we can actually get that done. I don't know, but but if he can come on the show, then it'll be absolutely great, man. So be on the lookout, man. Like I said, it's gonna open up just a completely different lane if you're into like sports. It's a different type of perspective. It's kind of different from this show a little bit. But I enjoy doing it, man. There's actually a new episode out right now that actually recorded as I was doing this. It was about TJ Watt's contract. So once this show is all said and done, it's like a 13-minute video. It's not long. Y'all know I'm going classic State of the Saints podcast with it, little short videos, right? We talking about TJ Watt, man. Make sure y'all check it out. If you don't like it, it's fine, man. Like you're like, TJ, I just want you with the Saints. That's cool, right? But if you're into like NFL sports talk, feel free to subscribe to the channel, man. Y'all know me, man. I'm not, if it's not your thing, it's cool, right? But if you're into like NFL sports talk as a whole, come on over there. Not from NOLA, but I'm close in Arkansas. I was 6 when Katrina hit. Yeah, I mean, look, man, you in Arkansas, man. You pretty boy. You felt the wind and the rain, so that's it's all good. Let's see. Congratulations, money. Yeah, man. Look, honestly, man, it ain't even about that. It's just the fact that, man, if you and I look, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. It has nothing to do. Like I'm just glad you're here. I don't care what you're feeling. I don't care if you're feeling this episode. Back in 2018, I had no webcam. I was recording on my iPhone 10 in my apartment closet and using pictures as a slideshow. I go from that to doing Bleacher Report. Like, y'all don't understand, man. Like, God has truly blessed me to be able to do the things that I'm doing. And, it just shows like that so many amazing people like yourselves who are very, very instrumental in helping this channel grow and putting eyes on this. Like, I have opportunities to do such amazing things, and that's why I just want to make sure that I'm giving that type of energy and great content back to you all, man, because none of that stuff would happen. None of this stuff would happen if the chat wasn't popping the way it is right now. People like, having something to say and like none of that stuff would be going on, man. Would be no opportunities like this, man. I'm just happy that you know we're able to grow as a as a fan, you know what I'm saying, as a fan base, as a channel, and people want to see how special we made the channel. So shouts out to everybody, man, that made these opportunities possible. Uh, keep your show going up, TJ. Shout out to the after show, men and women, grown folk only. Now, we a family show. The young folk can come through too. The young folk can come through too, man. I'm gonna take a few more, then we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here, man. I didn't realize how late it was. Man, it's 11:25 Eastern time here. Let's see. Stroll up a little bit. It's Kellen Moore first year. Either way, we're still in the kitchen trying to get the full meal ready. That's a good way of putting it, King. That's a good way of putting it. I couldn't have put it any better than that. That's a good analogy right there. TJ, what do you think about Mike Williams retiring after 8 seasons? Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. You can tell he probably didn't want to retire that early, but man, Mike Williams has had so many different injuries in his career, man. Like, and he was such a talented guy, man. I mean, coming out of Clemson, the sky was the limit for him. He was a first round pick. And, he was a guy that I feel the Chargers thought was going to be that number one guy, probably going to be that individual that could possibly replace Keenan Allen. I guess they didn't realize Keenan Allen was a freaking mutant. But, he just had a lot of bad luck in his career, man, a lot of injuries. But, I don't think he has anything to hang his head in shame about. I mean, he's made some plays in the National Football League. I'm pretty sure he made himself, a nice bit of money. He had opportunities to play with other teams. So, he got a couple contracts. So it's unfortunate that he's ending his career probably not the way he wants to. But, I mean, he's a talented guy, man. And sometimes, the NFL can be a little bit unfair sometimes. But, he's made some plays, man. And I'm pretty sure Charger fans, they probably remember him, for some of the plays that he made. Probably a little frustrating because, he was injured. But, he was a talented guy, man. It's just one of those cases of what if. Like, what if he would have stayed healthy? He probably would have been, one of those, top tier receivers in the league. I think he had that type of talent. I always tell the time I met TJ NFC Championship 2018, I was so pissed. I had typed in Saints versus Rams fan reaction. I clicked on it and said everything I was thinking. Yeah, man. I mean, it was yeah, man. It was frustrating, man. It was frustrating. It was frustrating. Man, I don't even remember what I said. I probably had an out of body experience. I probably blacked out. I don't know, man. That's like one of them. That's like one of them days like you forgot, like like you want to forget, like you want to forget. Jared said big supporter since 2018. Yeah, you were, man. You've been here since the beginning. Yeah, you've been here since the beginning. TJ, is he ending it due to injury? No, I don't think he's ending it due to injury, King Arthur. I just think that, bro, when it's totally unfair. But when you develop that reputation for possibly being that guy that gets injured quite a bit, sometimes teams, kind of look at you in a different light. And also some of those injuries playing a toll, paying a toll on your body. Maybe you're not cutting this quicker. Maybe they don't feel like you are as fast as you once were. So, that probably played a role also, man. And then, it's just the grind. I heard Teron Armstead talk about like some of the things that he endured. He basically said, like, could I have gotten myself prepared to play, this season? He said maybe. You know what I'm saying? He said more than, well, he didn't say maybe, he said he could have, but he don't want to go through that. And some of these guys, man, they have all these different injuries. Man, so much stuff go on behind the scenes, man, we ain't really privy to. All we see is the guys like Jersey and, them being out there on the field. But, man, these dudes go through so much, bro. Like, they go through so much to try to get on this field, man. Like, some of the things that I've heard, some of the stories that former players like tell me I hear, like, man, it just blows my mind. Like how, you know what I'm saying, like some of these things these dudes do in order for them to be ready and available on Sunday. So yeah, I mean, sometimes man, dudes get tired of the hustle and that bustle, you know. But Mike Williams, like I said, man, he ain't got nothing to hang his head in shame about. Dude, injuries happen, but I mean, he still made some plays in the NFL. TJ, do you remember Odyssey Records back in the day? Odyssey Records, man. That man going throwback with it. Hey man, I got something for y'all next episode. I was real close to putting it. I was real close to putting it on this episode. Yeah, but I got it for y'all. I guarantee, like I'm gonna make some of y'all bust out laughing next backdrop we got. Next backdrop we got. I guarantee you, some of y'all gonna be like, "Oh snap!" I guarantee you. I guarantee you. I'm I almost put it, but I was like, I was looking. I was like, which backdrop I was gonna use. I ain't gonna tell y'all. I ain't gonna tell y'all which one. I ain't gonna tell you the three. I ain't gonna tell you the three. All right. Because I want to kind of keep it a surprise. This was one of them, Peaches, the CD, the CD album, the album store, and it was like two more. But I guarantee you, one of them, watch, y'all, some of y'all gonna be like, not. Some of y'all might lose. Some of y'all might lose with it, but a lot of y'all gonna be like, oh snap! I guarantee you. I guarantee you. But thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. No, we went a little bit longer than I anticipated, but that's what happens when you're having fun. I really do appreciate your time. I ask that you hit the like button. I ask that you subscribe to the channel. Help the State of the Saints podcast continue to grow, gain the momentum going into the 2025 season. Man, we back at it again. As we know, next week is the start of training camp. Next week, the Saints will unveil their new jerseys that they kind of plugged last week, or this week rather. We're going to be talking a little bit more about Tyler Shough. Hopefully, he gets that contract signed before training camp, so we don't have to keep on talking about this situation over and over again. Also, make sure you subscribe to the State of the NFL, where we talk about some of the hottest topics in the National Football League. Hopefully, you guys subscribe. You like the content over there. And you can follow me on X at TJAYJones8 and the State of the NFL on X at State of the NFL. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I got to say is, who dat?